Monday Night Football, 1974. Millions of Americans are watching the Oakland Raiders dismantle their opponent. The camera zooms in on a defensive lineman. His head is completely shaved. His eyes look like they belong to someone who has seen things no human should see. His body is a weapon that offensive linemen are terrified to engage. The announcers need to fill time. They need to tell the audience where this terrifying player went to college. But there's a problem. He did not go to college. Not any college, not a small school, not a junior college, not anywhere. The announcer pauses. He looks at his notes. He looks at his broadcast partner. And then he says something that will follow this player for the rest of his life. He is from the University of Mars. The audience laughs, but the announcer is not entirely joking, because nobody knows where this man came from. Nobody knows how he learned to play football. Nobody knows how someone with zero college experience is dominating players who spent 4 years at the best programs in America. And I am about to tell you a story that the NFL has never properly explained. A story about a man who appeared out of nowhere and became one of the most feared defenders in professional football. A story about what happens when you refuse to let your circumstances determine your destiny. A story about a mystery that even the Raiders themselves could not fully solve. But I need to warn you before we continue. This story does not make sense. The facts I am about to present contradict everything you think you know about how professional athletes are made. By the end of this video, you will either believe in miracles or you will believe that the NFL has been lying about what it takes to succeed. Either way, you will never think about football the same way again. Let me start with a question that nobody has been able to answer. How do you become an NFL player without ever playing college football? Think about this seriously. Think about what college football provides. 4 years of high-level competition, daily coaching from professionals who have dedicated their lives to the sport, strength and conditioning programs worth millions of dollars, film study, technique refinement, experience against elite athletes. Every single player in the NFL has this foundation. Every single player has spent 4 years preparing for the professional level, except one. The man I am going to tell you about had none of this. 0 college snaps, 0 college coaching, 0 access to the development pipeline that every other professional football player travels through. And yet he was not just competitive in the NFL, he was dominant. He played in Super Bowls, he terrorized quarterbacks, he made Pro Bowl rosters, he forced offensive coordinators to design game plans specifically around avoiding him. How is this possible? I have spent months trying to answer this question. I have talked to former teammates, I have examined every piece of evidence I could find, I have searched for logical explanations, and I have found something that disturbs me. There is no logical explanation. What this man accomplished should not be possible. The path he took should not lead to NFL stardom. Everything about his story violates the rules of how professional athletes are developed. And yet it happened. The evidence is undeniable. The statistics are real. The Super Bowl ring exists. Which means either everything we think we know about athlete development is wrong, or this man was something beyond normal human capability. Let me take you back to where this impossible story begins. 1950s, rural Louisiana. A child is born into poverty so severe that most Americans cannot comprehend it. No running water, no electricity, no opportunities, no hope. This child grows up understanding one thing clearly. The world does not care whether he succeeds or fails. The world will not provide him with chances. The world expects him to disappear into the same invisible existence that has consumed generations before him. But this child has something that poverty cannot suppress. He has size. By the time he reaches his teenage years, he is bigger than grown men. His frame is built for physical dominance. His strength is natural and terrifying. And he has rage. A fury at the circumstances of his birth, a burning desire to prove that where you come from does not determine where you can go. He plays football in high school. He is dominant. Colleges should be recruiting him. Scouts should be knocking on his door. Nobody comes. Remember, this is the 1960s. This is the American South. A black athlete from rural Louisiana without connections, without exposure, without anyone advocating for him might as well be invisible. The college football pipeline does not know he exists. The pathway to professional football is closed before he can even approach it. Most people in his situation would accept this reality. Most people would find a job, start a family, live a quiet life, and let their athletic potential remain forever unrealized. This man is not most people. What he does next is where the story becomes extraordinary. He joins the United States Army. Now, joining the military doesn't seem like a path to NFL stardom. Most soldiers play recreational football at best. The idea that military service could replace 4 years of college development seems absurd. But something happens during his time in the Army that changes everything. He plays on the base football team, and he destroys everyone he faces. Word starts spreading. Soldiers who have played college football, soldiers who understand what high-level talent looks like, start talking about this unknown player who is dominating competition. But there is a problem. He is in the Army. He has obligations. He cannot simply leave military service to pursue a football career. So he waits. He serves his country. He plays whenever he can, and he dreams about a future that seems impossible to reach. His military service ends. He is now in his mid-20s, the age when most NFL players are entering their prime. He is just beginning to search for opportunities. And this is where the story should end. Because there is no pathway from former soldier with no college experience to professional football player. The NFL does not scout military bases. The NFL does not hold tryouts for unknown players in their mid-20s. The NFL does not take chances on athletes who have not been validated by the college system. Every door that should be open is closed. Every opportunity that should exist does not. But there is one team that operates differently. There's one franchise that has built its identity on finding players that other teams have overlooked. There's one owner who believes that talent can come from anywhere if you are willing to look. The Oakland Raiders. Al Davis had spies everywhere. He had scouts who watched semi-professional leagues, military teams, and industrial leagues looking for hidden talent. He believed that the NFL's conventional wisdom was wrong, that great players were being missed because teams only looked in obvious places. One of Davis's scouts sees something. A report comes back about a former soldier playing semi-professional football in the Midwest. The report describes a player unlike anything the scout has ever seen. Raw, uncoached, unpolished, but devastatingly powerful, naturally violent, possessed of physical gifts that cannot be taught. Al Davis reads the report, and Al Davis makes a decision that will change NFL history. He invites this unknown player to training camp. No guarantee of a roster spot, no signing bonus, no promises, just an opportunity. The first real opportunity this man has ever received. Now I need to tell you what happens when this player arrives at Raiders training camp, because this is where the story transforms from improbable to impossible. He has never experienced professional coaching. He does not know NFL terminology. He does not understand complex defensive schemes. He is years behind every other player in terms of technical development. And none of that matters. From the first day of training camp, this man dominates. Offensive linemen who have spent years preparing for this level cannot block him. Running plays designed to attack his position gain nothing. Quarterbacks learn to identify where he is before every snap because ignoring him means disaster. The Raiders coaching staff watches in disbelief. They have seen talented players before. They have seen physical specimens who look impressive in shorts. This is different. This man plays football with a violence that seems personal. Every snap is a war.
Every collision is a statement. He does not just want to make tackles, he wants to punish everyone who dares to enter his territory. John Madden, the Raiders head coach, pulls Al Davis aside after the first week of training camp. "Where did you find this guy?" Davis smiles, because he has done it again. He has found a weapon that the rest of the league did not know existed. The man makes the roster, not as a special teams player, not as a developmental prospect, as a starter. A player with zero college experience is starting on the defensive line for one of the best teams in professional football. Now let me tell you about his first season, because this is where the story becomes undeniable. He records multiple sacks. He disrupts offensive game plans. He makes plays that force coaches across the league to ask the same question: who is this guy? Where did he come from? How is he doing this without any college background? Nobody has answers. The mystery only grows. By his second season, he is one of the most feared defensive linemen in the AFC. Offensive coordinators are specifically game planning around him. Teams are using extra blockers just to slow him down. By his third season, he is selected to the Pro Bowl. A player from the University of Mars is now officially one of the best defensive players in professional football. And here is what makes this achievement so extraordinary. He did this without the advantages that every other Pro Bowl player had. He did not have 4 years of college coaching to refine his technique. He figured it out himself. He did not have access to elite strength and conditioning programs. He built his body through manual labor and natural genetics. He did not have film study sessions with professional analysts. He learned to read offenses through pure instinct. Everything that should be required for NFL success, he did not have, and he succeeded anyway. This defies explanation. This contradicts everything the NFL believes about player development. This should not be possible. And yet, his name is in the Pro Bowl records, his statistics are in the official archives, his Super Bowl ring is real.
Now let me tell you about the moment that cemented his legend. Super Bowl 11, January 9th, 1977. The Oakland Raiders versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Raiders are finally in the championship game. After years of heartbreak and close calls, they have reached the pinnacle of professional football. And their defensive line includes a man who should not be there, a man who defied every odd, a man who made the impossible look routine. The game is not close. The Raiders' defense dominates Minnesota from the opening whistle. The Vikings cannot run the ball. Their quarterback is under constant pressure. Their offense looks helpless against Oakland's ferocity. Final score: Oakland 32, Minnesota 14. The Raiders are Super Bowl champions, and the man from the University of Mars has proven something that nobody can deny. You do not need the traditional pathway to reach the top. You do not need college credentials to become great. You do not need anyone's permission to achieve the impossible. All you need is ability, opportunity, and the will to seize both. His name is Otis Sistrunk, and now that you know his name, let me tell you what it means. Otis Sistrunk played 7 seasons in the NFL, all of them with the Oakland Raiders. He appeared in 2 Super Bowls. He won a championship. He was named to the Pro Bowl. He became one of the most recognizable players of his era, all without ever playing a single snap of college football. The University of Mars joke followed him everywhere. Monday Night Football made him famous. His shaved head and intimidating appearance became iconic. But beneath the jokes and the image was something far more profound. Otis Sistrunk was proof that the system is wrong. Every year, thousands of athletes are told they cannot succeed because they did not follow the prescribed path. Every year, talented players are discarded because they do not fit the mold. Every year, potential goes unrealized because nobody is willing to look beyond conventional sources. Otis Sistrunk proved that talent exists everywhere. He proved that greatness cannot be contained by circumstance.
He proved that the only thing standing between most people and their dreams is someone willing to give them a chance. Al Davis gave Otis Sistrunk a chance, and Sistrunk rewarded that chance with a career that defied every expectation. But here is what bothers me about this story. Otis Sistrunk is not celebrated the way he should be. His story is not told to young athletes who are being overlooked. His achievement is not held up as evidence that the development pipeline is fundamentally flawed. The NFL does not want you to know about Otis Sistrunk because his existence proves that they are missing talent. His success proves that their scouting systems are incomplete. His career proves that the college football monopoly on player development is a choice, not a necessity. If Otis Sistrunk could become a Pro Bowl player without college, how many other potential Pro Bowlers are out there right now, invisible to scouts who only look in expected places? Hundreds? Thousands? We will never know, because the NFL does not want to know. It is easier to maintain the current system. It is easier to pretend that college football is the only pathway. It is easier to ignore the Otis Sistrunks of the world than to admit that the league is failing to find all available talent. But the evidence exists. The proof is undeniable. One man from rural Louisiana, with no college degree and no traditional credentials, became one of the most feared defensive players in professional football. If it happened once, it can happen again. If it can happen again, then the NFL is choosing not to find these players. And if the NFL is choosing not to find these players, then every conversation about talent evaluation in professional football is incomplete. Otis Sistrunk retired after the 1979 season. He was 33 years old. He had given the Raiders everything he had. He returned to relative obscurity after football. The fame of his playing days faded. The University of Mars jokes stopped being repeated. But his legacy remains, not in highlight packages, not in annual celebrations, not in the mainstream storytelling that the NFL promotes. His legacy remains in the simple fact that he existed, that he proved the impossible was possible, that he showed what happens when talent meets opportunity regardless of background. Otis Sistrunk was not supposed to play in the NFL. He was not supposed to start for a championship team. He was not supposed to become a Pro Bowl selection. He was supposed to disappear into the anonymous masses of unrealized potential that society creates and ignores. He refused, and in refusing, he became immortal. If you have ever been told that you do not have the right credentials, remember Otis Sistrunk. If you have ever been dismissed because you did not follow the expected pathway, remember Otis Sistrunk. If you have ever felt invisible to the systems that control opportunity, remember Otis Sistrunk. He came from nowhere, he became legendary, and he proved that the only limitations that truly matter are the ones you accept. Subscribe to this channel if you believe that stories like this need to be told. We do not accept the NFL's official narratives. We find the forgotten players whose achievements deserve recognition. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who is being overlooked, someone who has been told they cannot succeed because they did not follow the right path. Show them what Otis Sistrunk accomplished. Show them what is possible when you refuse to accept limitations. Comment below with your thoughts. Tell me if you knew about Otis Sistrunk before this video. Tell me if his story changes how you think about talent and opportunity. The University of Mars. That is where they said he came from. But the truth is more powerful than any joke. Otis Sistrunk came from nowhere, and he proved that nowhere is just a starting point, not a destination. The NFL forgot him. We will make sure the world remembers.